can talk about it. In the back room of the back room, it was all bad fumes in the back room. Skeleton-filled closets in the back too. You can talk about it. 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 You can. In the back room of the back room, it was all bad fumes in the back room. Skeleton-filled closets in the back too. You can talk about it. 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 You can talk about it.
What's up? Yo.
Oh, yeah.
Nope, we're not doing that. Welcome to the Backroom Speaks. Word. Welcome to the Backroom Speaks podcast.
Shine, yeah. Welcome to the Backroom Speaks. I gotta get a leg up on him because he was gonna embarrass me. Welcome to the Backroom Speaks podcast. Go to hell. The brave space for creatives. I'm Lysa, accompanied by an idiot, and we are so. You doing this from now on?
It says law right there.
That's what this is. That's it.
I'm Law. I'm obviously here with Cocaine Bennett.
I hate it here.
Put that name back right there. It says Cocaine Bennett right
if
there.
If you put that on there, I'll knock all this stuff over.
I should, bro. Episode 5, Lysa.
It's been a long, yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
A long one. Episode 5, man. We made it through 5 Jones.
5. Well, we're working through the 5th one. We'll see if we make it through it. Who knows what'll happen? 5 episodes, and you niggas thought we was done at the first one. Probably thought we were done at the second one.
Facts.
Probably thought we quit by the third one.
Facts.
And you probably thought that last week was the last one. But I came to serve notice to all of you. We back here, and we gonna be here a while.
Oh, I just love that.
We're gonna be a while.
So take a seat in your easy chair.
I'm telling you, man. I was telling my co-host earlier in pre-production meeting, like, we...
I almost said, who is your co-host? I think about.
Okay.
I just work here.
But people aren't used to consistency.
Guess we can't talk today.
I mean, it's really bad.
Yeah.
It's really bad. But y'all gonna get used to this at some point. Mm-hmm. It's like, yeah, we're here. And then you wake up and then we're still here.
I'm still here.
And then when you go to, one of your only 3 vacation spots that y'all go to, whether it's Vegas, Florida, or Cancun, when you get back, we'll still be
here, waiting for you.
Houston is another one that they go to.
Why do I want to go to Houston?
I don't know, man. Yeah. Yo, actually, we do want to shout out the guests from the last episode, episode 4. And we really appreciate them. Amber McCall, a.k.a. Ambi.
Ambi.
A Piece by Ambi is our company, man. And she was dope. And also, of course, my brother Kendall Williams. K-Will from the southernmost parts of the earth.
Right.
Or of the state.
Anyway,
city.
We had because we'll just keep going with that one. Will. But if you watched episode 4, we had a very dope conversation with them. Granted, it was just a snapshot of those of us that work the full-time jobs while pursuing our creative work full-time. Amen. And just to chop it up with some people that just get it. It was dope. We definitely got to do a part 2 to that one, too. I feel like a lot of these are, like, prompting part 2s.
Basically.
Like, these first few episodes have literally still just been, like, a snapshot. And
yeah, because you leave it wide open, man. It's, like, so much more. I think we were talking earlier about, earlier this week about there's so much more. Like, after watching the episode, there's, like, so much more I could have said. And I was literally watching on my TV, like, yo, why didn't you say this?
So much more I could have said, too, but...
Okay, anyway, so...
I didn't have an opportunity to... If you watched episode 4... I'm just going to get my stuff off somewhere. If you watched episode 4, I was vetoed and overpowered by...
I'm sorry.
Did you just mute my...
That was an accident.
Did you just...
That was an accident. What'd you say?
You foul spirit.
What'd you say?
You been messing with my sound and stuff. I knock all this stuff over. But he had a lot to say last week. He had a whole lot to say last week, and I am.
Is that my phone?
It is absolutely your phone. Take two. If y'all watched episode 4 or listened to episode 4, you will find out that in addition to us, generating a very dope conversation with our guest, we couldn't get that nigga Lawrence down from his talk box, his soapbox. Hot Take Larry had approached the podium and wouldn't step down from it. But it's okay. He had a lot of really
I had
dope.
a lot to say.
Yeah. He had it was a lot of dope stuff to say. Good content.
I mean, I thought it was great. I thought that, that perspective from us being creatives. And, you can get to hear 2 other voices other than me and Lysa's that you're now getting used to hearing every week.
That you love to hear every week.
Sure. Or at least one of us, right? And you get 2 other voices who are also, fit that same narrative of, having a 9 to 5 and being a full-time creative at the same time. It's a really important conversation that is not had enough, for sure. And that's really what this podcast is for. I mean, it's the brave space Come on, somebody. We got to put that on the
space for creatives.
Brave space, nigga. But it was really great.
It was good.
But
we almost hauled off into part 2 just now, but
true. And like Lysa said, like
it's gonna be that
the part 2. The part 2 is coming.
Yeah.
But like we were also talking about how much. What?
I was just saying we're gonna try to include some more people too.
No, for sure.
Yeah.
But we were talking about how much more we had, or could have said. There was so much more coming to us as we watched the first or episode 4, and some of those things we're gonna get into today. Even
it's actually a good, I think, starting point for something that we're gonna get into today. So, yeah. So you brought up I guess let's dig into it a little bit. So you, Hot Take Larry, brought up.
We gotta let Hot Take Larry go. That's
don't
not a thing.
Don't y'all like Hot Take Larry?
It's really not a thing. I just want to throw it out there.
I think it's great. If I gotta be Cocaine Bennett, this is gonna be Hot Take Larry.
But Larry is Larry is not a thing. I hated Larry. People try to say, "Oh, that's not a nickname
for Lawrence."
For Lawrence, and we need to stop that right now.
Yeah, but the Backroom Speaks podcast is not here to heal you and your Larry condition.
Anyway, yeah.
We had to do that too.
Go ahead and dig into it. That's your thing. Let's dive into it.
Go to hell, you foul spirit. Again. Talking about I bind it. But last week, I bind it. You apostolic colonizer, you bad nothing. Anyway, you better not edit that out. I think that should stay. But last week, since we're over here, hello.
You're not.
Oh. Okay. But yeah, last week was really cool. To your point, Lawrence, you brought up that some people thought that as far like concerning the whole 9 to 5 and doing the creative work that you couldn't do both, right? That was your point last week, or one of your points last week, one of your many points last week, that you couldn't pursue a full-time career while at the same time being fully delved into your creative work. And the point, one of the things that I didn't really have a chance to touch on, and I regret nothing. It just went how it was supposed to go. But I'm healing here. This is what we're here to do. Because you hurt your friend last week. And but one of the points, one of the things that I was thinking about was kind of speaking to the whole doing it both thing, but I said doing them both. So I am falling apart. Doing your creative work and working your jobs. Growing up, and I'm just gonna speak about me for a little bit. I'm gonna be Hot Take Susan, okay? Prayerfully, none of my family kills me, but I come from a very practical background. We're very realistic. You keep you a good job. You always keep you a good job. That's just that's our family dynamic. You keep you a good job and you roll with it. And most of the people in my family that have these like jobs, have long-standing careers, and have been working these things and have had much success. And I think that was just something that, my granddad kind of pushed. Either you went to school or you went to work. You couldn't just not do anything. And so in doing that, either, being fully delved into your studies or, fully focused on a job, there wasn't much room to really, perfect your crafts, if you will. And I'm just speaking solely to me. Other people may have other people in my family may have, their own little thing. But I went to a very tough school that kind of cultured certain aspects of, like, I'm into music, that cultured certain aspects of that. But yeah, like, academics came first. Like, before sports, before choir, all that stuff, even though choir was like a class thing, but all this stuff, it came, the most important thing, the academics came first. And as an adult, I kind of took that in because the job ultimately comes first. Now, I am not doing any of that. I pretty much do what the hell I want to do right now, both. But, and I think I manage both pretty well. I mean, yeah, I'd be tired as hell. I fall apart sometimes, but I think I manage it pretty well. So it is possible to do both, to their point. But to certain people that come from the backgrounds of just having to be, fully focused on the practical things and vocational work, I kind of want to deal with y'all for a minute too, because even in that focus, and I don't regret like any aspect of my upbringing and, having to focus on these things, because I feel like I know how to get up and go to work and do all of that. But at the same time, I was doing some reflecting, and I feel like had I had a lot more time spent on, like, perfecting aspects of my craft early on, or at least had the means or the initial push to more than what I already have early on, I would be in a much better position, or at least a lot further along in music, in my opinion. You know what I'm saying?
Okay, wait on that. Because I don't want to get there, what you're saying, but I want to make clear the distinction of what we're talking about versus what we were talking about last week.
Okay.
And so, as Lysa put it so eloquently.
Thanks.
So
hurry to a slow close.
She said some stuff, right? But the difference from what we were talking about last week is because it was impressed upon us by other creators who've already made it. So the generation above us, they said, you can't do both. If you want to make it to where I'm at, you got to do this and only this. And what Lysa is referring to is how it was given to us from our parents.
Sure.
Basically, our family, whoever's taking care of us, And that's a different type of, because, who are you going to listen to more?
Facts.
I mean, I can look at somebody on the TV telling me, oh, you gotta really put your all into it. But yeah, she got a belt though. Well, my dad got a belt though. Like I'm listening to him. And growing up, like she said, academics was first. I mean, I didn't care about that obviously, but academics came first, and and get a job.
Yep.
And get a job and get a good one so you can take care of me when I get old. That was the thing, right? And as an adult now, like, because I know you were going into the next thing, but how do you view that now for when you have children in the future?
That is really good. I really love how you set that up. Ooh, I just love that.
Ooh, I just love that.
Thank you. That was beautiful.
Sorry, just want
unhand it. Let it go. Loose it and let it go. But one of the things I do want to make sure that I do is I want my kids to be well-rounded. Not saying that I'm not saying that, we weren't exposed to.
We're not crapping on the parents.
We're not.
We love you.
First of all,
you had it wrong, but we love you.
Right. No. I'm very grateful for my upbringing and the people who made, like, my mom and everybody who just, poured into me and made those deposits and investments, literal deposits and investments into my life and future, and that, propelled me to where I am right now. But one of the things that I'm definitely going to do is make more effort, like when, to culture the interests of my children, Or even I could do that now with my nephews. I pick on them a lot. Like, what can you see yourself doing? What do you want to do? I push them into those One Summer Chicago Gallery 37 programs to find something that they liked. And I'm like, work, they get paid to just try something out. I want them to be like well-rounded. And when they find something that they really like, I want to invest in it to make sure that I exhaust every avenue possible to set them up so that they could be amazing at that in the future.
Right.
That's just the ultimate goal. And I think that we should all, look into that. Even if it's just, your partners, your spouses, your friends and stuff like that. Like, and if you believe in them, go ahead and invest in that.
But you know what? And this is that's the beauty of where we are now, right? Because we're able to do that. And one of the things that we were talking about in pre-production was the fact that wasn't really a thing to our parents and to their parents. Like, I think one of the things that I mentioned was, I'm pretty sure my dad, if he came home to my mom or my grandmother and said, I wanted to be a movie star, my mom would have probably smacked him. Like, nigga, what are you talking about? Like, go get a job. And when you look at, and I feel so bad, and that's one of the things I wanted to say last week, was those people, our generation prior to us and far back beyond, right? I feel so sorry, and I apologize to all of y'all. Because y'all weren't even able to really tap in. I mean, you got the few that made it, obviously. Those are the people that we know, right?
Yep.
But there are so many people who probably were drafted into the Army, who were forced to go to work because they needed to make money. These people probably didn't even have an education, right? Mm-hmm. And they were probably the most talented people in the world, but priorities stopped them from actually pursuing their art.
Life stopped them from pursuing their
That's perfect.
art, being practical, doing what makes most sense for this moment in life.
This is, I mean, honestly, that's the reason.
Happens.
That's the reason why I didn't go to go to school, go to college, because I needed a job. And that's the story of so many people. Mm-hmm. And then that's also why you have people going to midlife crisis and they want to go do. I mean, that's literally what midlife crisis is. That's why you got an old nigga that's 40. All of a sudden, he goes by a motorcycle and, he's like, oh, man, I want to go live up. Or that woman who got married at 16, right? And then when she get 30, she want to go that's when she want to go to the club. It's like,
you missed your beat, sis.
Yeah, but that life kind of gets in the way sometimes. Yep. And the beauty of us now is that we are, we can kind of navigate a little better and we give that to our children.
Absolutely.
Because our parents couldn't give us what they didn't have. The information wasn't available. Yeah, you know what I'm saying?
The resources definitely weren't available. And I mean, like, the time that we live in is such a progressive time, such an innovative time. There are just so many, like, ways to just obtain information and network and, just reach out to different people just to get the know-how or the know-who on a lot of things that we just probably otherwise wouldn't have without the, advances in technology that we have right now.
I think, and that's what makes
millennials are just the game changers here. That's just what
facts. Facts. That's really the big thing, though.
Yeah.
And now we can show, because one of the things is, to our parents and their parents and their parents, pursuing this was not a real thing. Mm-hmm. It was a myth. It's a legend. Mm-hmm. It's like one of those things that, like, or maybe you can, maybe you can't, or like it's literally 1 in a million. Yeah. I think I referenced earlier, like making it into the NBA. You know how many niggas in college that's hooping in the NCAA that's not getting paid? By the way, the NCAA is trash. Not a sports podcast. Just want to throw that out there.
We're going to talk about that stuff too.
But all those guys with hoop dreams, Same with the NFL. But there's only but a small fraction that's actually going to get drafted. And then after the draft, there's not that many that's going to be, going to get signed undrafted.
And what do you say to these people? Like, how do you keep their heads literally in the game, but ultimately trying to prepare them for the inevitable. By the way, this is what this episode is about. Like, but while preparing them for the inevitable that this big dream may or may not come true. Is it still worth investing in? Is it still worth,
But we're breaking all that.
Period.
Because guess what? There's all these different leagues, right? I'm still talking about NBA or basketball, right?
Read.
There are people creating their own leagues now. People are skipping college so they can go and get paid now. There's ways to still do this. There's alternate leagues. There's the G League in NBA. There's arena football. And, if you probably can make it into the NFL, like there's all these different things. And with us as creatives, millennials, and now the next generation, what's that, Gen Z?
Gen Z. Yeah.
Crushing it. You want to know why? Because we're building stuff ourselves with everything that we have available to us. And that's us because we're millennials.
Yeah.
But the Gen Z is going to be insane.
They are some of the
now,
most...
Go ahead. I'm sorry.
I was just saying, like, just speaking to Gen Z, and it's literally like a step up from us. Gen Z is housing or birthing some of the most, amazing thinkers. And you don't think so?
No, I'm agreeing, bro.
Oh.
Relax.
I couldn't tell the tone of it. Y'all probably couldn't either.
That was like the stank face, like, man.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
But like, yeah. And now, because I was gonna knock all this stuff over. Like, what you mean? But
I'm sorry for people who are listening who can't see this.
Man,
but go ahead.
Praying for everybody listening, man. But again, just Gen Z is just a group of some of the most amazing and most brilliant thinkers. Intellects, but it's all because of us, because of the millennials, because of either the deposits made from the generations before them, the investments, or even the lessons
that you learned
you learned as a result from that. Everything wasn't always an easy lesson learned. Some people had to learn stuff the hard way, and so it's all about how we hand things over.
And
read.
They learned, what's that saying? I don't know if it's a real proverb or it's just a dope saying that people passed on for years and years. But, the smart man learns from his own mistakes. A wise man learns from the mistakes of others, right?
Facts.
And a lot of times we just saw a lot of them niggas above us mess up. And I just said, I'm not doing it that way. And I think it's the same way with us to them for a lot. Only difference is we changed the game so crazy. It was crazy. Give us our flowers. Millennials and Gen Z deserve all the flowers. You want to know why? Outside of being a creative, what they're doing socially, those protests that you saw last year.
Yeah. Absolutely.
The change that we're seeing now, it's not because of you old people. I just want to be clear. We love y'all. But it's not because of y'all. And the change that we're seeing in the music industry, the reason why this stuff has changed is because people are asking for more, asking for something different, or just plain old creating their own. You know who doing that? Because, the other people, they stuck in their ways still.
Some of them. Heard that.
That's all. But the thing is, we made it a real thing. Art, being a creative, being a photographer, successful, being an artist, a painter. Hey, niggas wasn't checking for paint. I think Amber said that. Amber said that last week on our podcast. Guess what? She's moving into other avenues, into apparel, and then she wants to eventually go into home decor. Because niggas wasn't buying paint. I'm about to buy one, though, from her.
Yeah.
I'm going to have another guy on here one day. Hopefully. My guy Swole, he's super crazy with it. but I'm gonna buy me some art. But people aren't buying a whole lot of art, so that people are finding different ways.
Yep.
That's what we do, bro. When this ain't working, guess what? I'm gonna flip it and try to do something else. I'm gonna still do my art and put it on apparel. That's what Ambi said.
Yep.
And she's selling mass stuff, right? That's really what we do. I think the reason why our parents and their parents had it so effed up is because there was only one way to do certain things, and it took niggas like us to come and make just switch it all up.
And I think it's also the times too. And we spoke about that a little bit last week. We getting into a lot of last week, but I promise it's gonna make sense. It's gonna come out in the wash. That's what my grandma say. But the times have also been a catalyst to make people just, like you said with Ambi, she said niggas wasn't buying paint. So she had to, of course, reach out and find another medium. Now I got apparel. Now I'm looking into, finding other means to create multiple streams. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's the time. So we was in a damn pandemic. Mm-hmm. We have seen people, we are still in a pandemic, but we've seen, like, people become, like, just the most resourceful that they've been. I mean, now granted, we've had different other life events over the past, with Great Depression. I'm sure, like, those times, again, propelled people into the next moment. Like, so much amazing. Like, if you do, I'm a little bit of a history nerd, but, like, even Great Depression, right? Roaring 20s, all that. Like, look at the stuff that was birthed out of that time. Fast forward to now, pandemic, just the social climate too. Mm-hmm. How, you know what I'm saying? Like, how we're seeing the most innovative things be birthed out of the most,
craziest times.
The craziest times.
And that's the beauty, and that was really the beauty of the whole pandemic. Like what it birthed. Mm-hmm. Birthed a lot of BS too.
Yeah, that too. Let's be clear.
And then we're gonna actually talk a little bit about that toward the end of the episode. But it birthed a lot of BS too. But I'm fine with that if we get greatness. Like, I'm really okay with getting MC Hammer if it gave us Vanilla Ice too. Right?
Yeah. Let you have that.
Like, I'm fine. Dude, do you know how many artists come out that are trash? By the way, MC Hammer and Vanilla Ice was a terrible analogy to make, but we don't have Vanilla Ice if we don't have MC Hammer, and I would much so rather have MC Hammer. I just want to be clear about that.
That was a wild analogy.
Rob Van Winkle. Well, they love stealing that. Anyway, we're gonna talk about culture vultures one day too, but today's not the day because I'm gonna cuss a lot on that pod. Just want to be very clear.
He's gonna be running that one by himself. I'm
gonna be very clear. Black people can be culture vultures too.
Can. Of
black culture. Huh?
Can't get no help in here.
I'm not gonna do that. So anyway, one of the things that we talked about, Lysa, was, that, how our parents, kind of pushed us into, either education or work. And so art was kind of on the back burner. Like, what do you look like if you got, and I want to be very clear, once again, we got to give that disclaimer. Like, we love our parents. They did amazing.
We just talking.
They did amazing jobs for the most part. I think I turned out to be a decent human. I never went to... We turned out to be good humans. Okay?
Help!
I never stayed in jail for a long time. All right? But we're good people, and we love our parents, and they did great jobs. So this is not an indictment on them. Right? But things could have been different. Had our parents had the resources that we have today, I'm sure things would be different. But what do you look like today, Lysa, if maybe things were different with how, maybe you weren't so pushed to, you got to get a job, you got to get an education, you're artist not first, this is first, yada, yada, yada. What does that look like?
Again, I think I would be a lot, further along. I think I'm pretty solid at what I do. I think I do a damn good job. But again, as creatives, we are our own toughest critics. And, me being the overthinking person that I am, I overprocess things like, well, I could have said that word differently and the record has been out 3 years. You know what I'm saying? Like we always tend to overprocess things like that. And so I think much about like my development, like, believe it or not, I want to be able to play. But I know it's going to take me play for real. I could play a little bit, but like, keys, piano, whatever. But it's going to take me a lot longer in my adult life to culture that with, of course, life and everything that's happening. So I can't spend as much time versus had I probably, locked in on that a little bit earlier, I would already have like a lot of that foundational and fundamental stuff already knocked out. I'll be cold as hell by now. I'll be cold. And I think I'm solid now. I'll be cold. And I was thinking the same thing, even concerning sports. I had a few minutes of a run in sports. Like, my dad used to take me to like the biddy ball game, stuff like that, But those types of deposits early on, I think, would have pushed me a little bit further. Yeah. I probably wouldn't have to work as hard as I do now to prove myself. That's another.
But that's
another.
Ooh.
I'm not gonna touch that too much because that's the episode I'll probably curse on. But I have to work a little bit harder to prove a point because that aspect isn't shown or as easy, or I don't have like the avenues to really. Hey, I do know this, but it's not like I'm sitting up there playing at somebody's church on Sunday. You know what I'm saying?
The one thing that really struck out to me. Struck out. Shut up.
Okay.
Was I think early in that whole spiel, you were talking about, if you had that type of support, like you would have less self-doubt. Is basically what I got from what you said.
Unpacking some stuff, man.
Right? And in our pre-production meeting, we were talking about, my bad. We were talking about, I'm not going to name anybody, but like we were talking about one of my family members. Like, you know how everybody thinks their kids are the smartest, right? Everybody thinks their kids are the smartest. And that's great to do. Some people overdo it. And, some people do it just enough, whatever. But if I had, and I've always been supported by my father and my mother and my grandmother. But if I had the support, it's a different type of support you need to really push you into that. You know what I mean? Not forcibly, not crazy Joe Jackson, but kind of, right? Really give you, make available the resources. And that's really tough because another thing we were talking about, I grew up poor. We didn't know it, but we were broke. And we didn't know it because everybody else was around us was broke too. And so it was normal. Our parents was making it happen.
Yeah. Raw as hell with it.
In poverty. So our parents are the GOATs. Let's be clear. So, niggas couldn't afford no lessons like that. You know what I mean?
Yeah, it's true.
So, some special school to go away and all this other stuff. Like, but imagine if we had that. Or not even that, just found a way to make some of those resources to kind of cater to that thing that you know your kid got a thing. Mm-hmm. What would that look like for us? Like, the reason why, and to Lisa's point, the reason why I probably second guess myself so much because I didn't have that real confirmation Because my dad couldn't give me that because he's not a musician. He's music illiterate. He knows what he likes to hear. He knows what type of music he loves. But he can't confirm if what I'm doing is great. For real. And you know that as a kid.
True.
You know? So what if I had that as a kid? What do I look like?
What do you look like?
I'm Kanye. Gee, I'm Kanye.
Yeah.
I don't think we have Kanye, who I believe is a genius and one of the greatest artists of all time. Not a single artist have ever had 5 straight classic albums, and I said it. Okay, just wanted to make sure that was clear, because niggas gonna disagree with me. They say that. Grab that album right there. That one right there.
Oh my God.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I'm so sorry. People are saying, really got the nerve to say this is not a classic album, and you're bugging.
That album changed my life. Man.
You're bugging. 808s and Heartbreaks is a classic. Sorry. So you got College Dropout, Late Registration, Graduation, 808s, and then My Beautiful... You are wilding if you say he don't got 5 straights. That ain't got nothing to do with anything that we're talking about, but I'm just saying.
He had to get that off. He's been waiting 5 episodes.
5 episodes? 5? Come on, man. We came to pod. So I don't think we get Kanye if he didn't get that attention. That type of attention we're talking about. We definitely don't get... Michael was told that he was a star when he was 5 or 6 or something crazy. And that carried throughout his entire life up until he died. He was the king of pop till he died. But he had that from a kid. Mm-hmm. And now we got these babies coming up, man. And I say babies, meaning actual babies, but little 9, 10, 11-year-olds. And they're cold. I'm looking at them like, and jealous. Not really jealous, but like, I wasn't half as good as these kids when I was their age. What are they getting that we didn't?
I think what's happening now is a lot of these kids have a lot of freedom, right? Like, you know how they say, like, when you have a lot of siblings and stuff like that, how the baby gets the most freedom and stuff like that, because the oldest probably got it hard, the middle kid probably got the hardest, but that baby, at that point, the parent is just so over.
Yeah, because they're probably already a grandparent at that point.
And
they get soft.
Even more, the kid, the youngest, I like this analogy too, the youngest probably, I'm going to use my little sister as an example, she gets away with murder, even now.
Shout out to her.
Shout out to Lays, man. If she listening, what about that? But she gets away with murder, and it's probably stuff that me and Lexi probably would have got smacked down for. Mm-hmm. This is the point that I'm trying to make.
My little sister the same. Gotcha.
Yeah, God bless her. But to my point now, and I'm setting this up with like these generations and things like that. Like kids these days, or at least millennials, Gen Z, aren't afraid to break the rules. They're not afraid to try things. Right? Versus, like how the times like limited us years ago, like we wouldn't dare fall out of line with what was trendy and, what was popular or what was things were meant to look like, what things were meant to sound like, what things were meant to feel like. But now people are pushing the envelope. Niggas losing their top, number one. And this kind of brings up a quote that I looked up. I had to go and dig into my Facebook archives and find it. It's actually in a Robert Glasper song. The quote, you'll probably remember this. I'm finna read it real quick. It says, "The trends of the times be damned. Thank God we've still got musicians and thinkers whose obsession with excellence and whose hunger for greatness remind us that we should all be unsatisfied with mimicking the popular rather than mining the fertile veins of creativity that God placed deep on the inside of each of us." What that tell you? What that tell you? So we have a world right now of people that are just willing to go against the grain, forget everything that that was taught, and holding on to some of the stuff that was taught.
And that's life. That's not even like talking about create. Like that's just life in general.
Man.
I think that, one of the reasons though is why, say Gen Z, millennials kind of started with it. Gen Z took it to a whole nubber. Yo, anybody ever watch Mad TV? You ever watch Mad TV? Okay, man. Mad TV was great.
I wasn't supposed to watch it, but I watched it.
That joint was great. Anyway, but Gen Z is taking it, to a completely different place. And it's great. Right? Like, but I think just the times that we grew up in, way back whenever, it wasn't the norm. It wasn't an attainable thing. Like being an artist full time, being a musician full time, like being an actor, being whatever. It just wasn't reachable. And to these kids, to some of us, it was put out there like, yeah, you can be a doctor or a lawyer or a singer or a drummer or a DJ or a photographer or a painter. Like the kids that are coming up today, I know my kid's gonna hear it for sure. You can do that.
Thanks.
And then be your own boss. Make a business out of it. These things, the information is crazy now. And so we get to kind of steer our kids in a completely different direction. That'll be to their advantage, of course, but in what they want to do.
I think that also ties into like the support factor too.
Yeah.
Like even, yeah, we'll hand things down to our kids and yeah, we'll, reach out to the little bro, the young cat, whoever. But I think it's beyond just investments of families and, support in that regard. People who've been there, done that, when they reach back and pour into... Why are you looking like that?
Yeah, when they reach back, yeah. I love when they do that.
When they
because they always do. They do. No, that is important for the OGs. Those guys that reach back, and it's greatly appreciated that they're doing it now.
Especially in this city, Chicago, by the way, because I don't know people.
Yeah, for our out-of-state listeners, the ones that's listening in Idaho, we in
over there in Guam. We see you. No, we don't see you, but just to see, especially that type of thing, in a city that is extremely oversaturated with everybody amazing and cold at everything
and divided,
and divided at the same time. That's another episode. I'll do it today too. No, I'm kidding. But there's you better not do it. But in this city where you see that birthed so many amazing, dancers, musicians, photographers, even in sports, for them to pour into the next people or the people that just desire to learn and soak up everything like a sponge, or just be an open portal for knowledge and just wanting other people to be great. And it's genuine.
It's great. It's great when it's genuine.
It's great when it's genuine. It's different. It hits different when it's genuine. Niggas can tell when it ain't genuine too.
But let's do more of that. Cause guess what? Cause now we're getting old.
You're getting old.
I'm getting old. And
I'm 21.
We gotta be those people now for that next generation to do that. But we're also, we kind of sometimes do what we were taught.
Facts.
And it wasn't so sweet for people a while ago. And I really appreciate what I'm seeing now, I'm seeing flashes of you know, people from generations ahead of us, you know, reaching back, trying to, you know, drop gems, giving us free game, giving these young kids free game, you know, putting people on, just straight
That
up,
part.
just extending their hand and pulling niggas up. I love to see it.
We need it.
But there was a time where that wasn't happening. It was a boy. It was like you know, it was the country club. Like only a few niggas get in.
The speakeasy.
That.
You had to have the passcode or literally,
Ooh, she
or
did
literally be grandfathered. I am so sorry.
I ain't said a cuss word this whole
This is probably my
time.
first one in like 3 episodes too. I've been doing good.
Not my TV.
Not my Bose home theater system, but I can't even recover. You literally have to be grandfathered in to make it. And that's just the reality of the situation. And I'm not saying that from a place of bitterness. I'm saying that from a place of overcoming because
It's a
I
real
found
thing.
my lane and I created and I'm rolling with it. I don't want to be in nobody else's. I've earned every spot that I've worked on. I've also been put on in some cases too. And the niggas that put me on, I am indebted. Put work back. It's about that caliber of exchange though. Nobody is beyond looking out for.
Facts.
If they're interested, go ahead and invest. But nobody is beyond teaching. Nobody is beyond loving, showing love to. Just because they don't play the same stages that you're on, or you know, don't put out the same caliber of work, then
Or what you deem is the same caliber.
or what you and this is another thing. What you deem acceptable or it isn't the same thing.
And the
for
world,
somebody else.
the world proves that every day.
Every day, right? Every day. We bump heads on stuff like this a lot, like stuff that he would consider acceptable, and I'm just like, that. What is that? Or vice versa.
It's never been vice versa. She always shits on whatever I say is acceptable, but
It's actually the opposite way. We also didn't come here to do that. Hot take Larry trying to take off.
you worse than OGs.
I hope my
Were back a long time ago.
No,
They're great now.
That's okay. I'll take that because I hold my niggas accountable and I'm not just
She
babysitting.
want to do this.
I hold my niggas
See.
accountable and I'm not just babysitting because he just put some music out and I'm just gonna say it's amazing. No, if that shit is trash, we're gonna take another round at it and I'm gonna push him to that moment. I'm not gonna.
Stop. I'll say what you gonna say again?
I'm just gonna I'm gonna always look. I know this is taking a horrible tangent, but this is another thing. Like this whole convention talk bull crap. Give people sound feedback. With the OG.
No,
nigga.
Man, hey, Doc, you was killing Doc. Oh man.
No, how about you played in the same damn octave the whole damn, and you was transposing. We saw it on the live stream. Like,
Sorry.
no, you transposing. But like, hold people accountable in that regard, because I think that's another thing where people mess up at, whether in any area of support. Yes, we want to patronize our people and make sure that like they feel good while they're doing the things that we love, but we hinder people. And I say, hey, just because this my homie, he put some music out, it's automatically A1. No, not true.
Yeah, that's not true. But listen, I don't want you to get that messed up, because there's nothing wrong with supporting your people.
Absolutely do.
Do that, because I'm gonna support my friend. I'm gonna support my family. I'm gonna support my whatever. Like,
Stop playing with them.
but we're gonna have a conversation, because guess what? If I take that back. If I put out a project in 2019, if I do another album, right, and I do another one, or let's say my project I put out in 2019, which is called "Don't Hit Me When You Hear This." It's also streaming everywhere, by the way. I want to be clear about that. But if I put that out and it was trash on her, to her or to you, all, and I put out another one this year and it's trash, and I put out another one the following year and it's trash, y'all niggas should be looking over here to her. Y'all should be looking at my brother Dot. Y'all should be looking at my brother Kendall. Y'all should be looking at my wife, Dominique. Why y'all letting this nigga keep putting this stuff out?
Hello.
Right?
You said a lot right there.
Hold your people accountable. That's not on the list to talk about today, but that's a thing. Right?
I'm not touching that one.
We're 50 minutes in. Listen,
This is good stuff.
at the end of the day, because really, to sum up our episode, is that the parents had it wrong. They were great, but they had it a little wrong. You can absolutely still, it's still the same sentiment from last week. You can do both. You can have a 9 to 5 and be full-time in your art, whatever that may be.
Uh-huh.
Guess what? The spaces are crowded. That's never going to change.
Oversaturated.
It's oversaturated. Cream rises to the top. There's enough money. There's enough money to go around for everybody. Everybody can eat. Yada yada yada. That's the political way of saying cream rises to the top. You shouldn't feel any or intimidated by somebody else popping up with the same issue you got.
If anything, that should push you to go back to the lab and create something else more potent, more amazing, whatever.
Yeah. And then also just support your people. And bringing up these kids that's coming up. I mean, Gen Z they got it sold up. Like, they're killing it. And I love to see it.
My money's on them.
But when you have children, you don't have to push them necessarily in one way or the other, but just really keep an eye out for what their interests are. Mm-hmm. And mold that. Like, really support them, because I'm telling you, what you get out of that, I'm not gonna say Kanye again, but what you get out of that, number one, they won't hate you for it, because it's gonna pay off so much in the future. What actually would happen is that they'll grow up hating you, especially today. And I'm gonna tell you why I feel that way. It's because they're gonna realize when they get older, I could have did so much.
Man.
If only I would have just been able to get lessons, or if I would have just been told, like, I'm actually good at this, right?
Yeah.
If I would have just got some type of confirmation that this thing that I have that I'm real self-conscious about, it's actually good. Mm-hmm. It's actually great. That I'm actually not that bad looking. I might want to go model. I might want to take some good pictures. I might want to be a photographer. I'm not talking about that little scrabble that your baby did, and you always tell them that, oh, that's the greatest thing. You know, like babies, they like infants, and they just, yeah, that'd be trash. I'd be telling the kids they trash. But
you're horrible.
No, but
you're not babies.
Kids have gifts, and we want to make sure we help them in whatever way we can with that. And just people, you got these young kids that are in a younger generation than you, man. Reach back.
Listen to them.
Listen to them.
Listen to them. And if you don't have the answer to their question, don't turn them away. And this is something that we get big on in my horrible job. But like, I'm going to do my best to find the answer to your question. Let them know, and that's something that can make the difference. I don't know, I can't help you. Anytime my nephews bring something to me, I'm like, I don't know, but I'm going to find out for you. That knows that I've listened to them. I'm interested in what they're saying. Mm-hmm. And that creates an extra room for conversation. You know what I'm saying? Listen to these kids.
You know who said that? Kanye.
Please go away.
Listen to the kids, bro. I'm sorry.
I hate him. Anyway, I don't know why I just felt led to do this, but shout out to my OG. Because even in my adulthood, how she listens, number one. And this is something that I probably need now more than I needed as a kid. But like, she listens and she hears me out. Always wants to make sure I'm situated when I'm going off on gigs, even going to work. So I just
And
wanna,
she's a friend of the show, and she watches the pod.
she listens to the pod. She watches the pod.
And she's my.
She loves
babe.
Lawrence,
Oh.
which is probably more than me, which is very terrible. But Sylvia, I love you, but probably not in the same way that Law does.
Get my camera right, man.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Get my camera right, man.
Jesus.
Never mind, I ain't gonna do it. Yes, I am.
Jesus.
Listen, I love you. Love you. All right, we done. All right. 56 minutes in, man.
56 minutes in, and I'm ready to end this damn episode. I hate it here. I want to go home. I want to go home.
No, we're going home. It's episode 5, Lysa.
It's episode 5.
And we got through it.
We did make it. I wasn't sure if we were going to make it 56 minutes ago, but the Lord has favored us once more and again. And if you've been following along for the last, since April 7th, it was April 7th, right?
April 7th.
We appreciate you. If you're following us.
For sure.
Liking our posts, sharing everything.
And keep doing it.
Please keep doing it. It's an
keep
uphill
doing
battle.
it. As a matter of fact, we need you to. Just let's keep liking, keep sharing, keep doing all that good stuff, bro.
Yeah.
And really quick, because we're 5 episodes in, I do want to shout out, as usual, my brother. I'm going on a Creative Clothing 773, just completely just blackout. Like, I'm probably going to do that for the next 3 or 4 pods. Shout out my brother, Curtis McCautry. And we might see him on the show next week. I don't know.
Maybe.
We may see him on the show next week. But Creative Clothing 773's info should be up. Shout out to him. What are you wearing, Lysa?
I have God is dope.
Oh, me too.
So in the pandemic, God is dope. First of all, whoever is doing all the marketing,
Stop texting me.
They text me more. I be thinking my phone is going up, but it really just be God is dope telling me about a $4.99 t-shirt that I'm absolutely gonna buy. That I'm gonna buy for sure. So you're amazing. Whoever's doing the marketing, you're amazing, and I hate you. Yeah. And they probably took the majority of my money throughout the pandemic. If I buy another God is dope hoodie or God is dope t-shirt or skull cap, whatever, I probably need to my butt beat. So shout out to God is dope in Atlanta. I know y'all buy their stuff too. But now you got to run up our locals like we run up their stuff. So go back and watch the merch alerts. Maybe we should do like a little compilation for the month or something.
Who do we have? We got Banter Apparel last week.
Right,
shout out
with
to Kamar. Yeah,
Kamar. And then we had Ami with Art Over Clout. Kelsey King with Good Things. And we had Uncle Kurt, Creative Clothing 773.
And then we got Ambi. We're gonna have her stuff available soon. A piece by Ambi is what it's called.
I can't wait for that joint.
But yeah, we'll do that.
We'll do like a little compilation thing.
For sure.
So again, while we here, support Black-owned businesses.
For sure.
Support the local businesses. Love on your people. Love on yourself. Stay yourself. Keep up life.
Okay. All right. We're not doing it. Listen, it's the Backroom Speaks podcast.
The
Brave Space
for creatives.
Cause find me another
Find
one.
me.
You can talk about it. In the back room of the back room, it was all bad fumes in the back room. Skeleton-filled closets in the back too. You can talk about it. 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 You can. In the back room of the back room, it was all bad fumes in the back room. Skeleton-filled closets in the back too. You can talk about it. 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 You can talk about it.